was this Prince Harry's very final last stance of defiance against his soon-to-be wife, Meghan Markle, on their wedding day? As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today in the very heart of London. We'll have a quick wave. Thank you as ever for all your support with the recent videos. It is truly appreciated. I'm so glad you're enjoying them, and I love the feedback from the movies too. It's just a nice bit of respite, isn't it, to sit down and watch something for not too long. A really good story, well acted, with wonderful people of the time. And if you're like me, a little bit nosy, I do love to look at what places were like, say, in that particular era, and finding them again, you know, and thinking, wow, they knocked that down, or that street's completely now disappeared. Strange, isn't it? Is it like that in your part of the world when you see an old film and you think, well, where was that? Seemingly now wiped off the face of the earth, quite literally. Back as ever though to your royal story of the day. Now it's interesting this, because as I often say here on the show, I find this very strange, and at the time I did find it strange, because you would suspect, of course, that any budding bride-to-be wouldn't necessarily want ex-squeezers at their wedding. You know, there's simply, well, it wouldn't really sort of fit the form, would it? And I've never really known this before in any weddings that I've attended, unless, of course, they've been friends of both the bride and groom. But as we now know, on that fateful day in May 2018, when Prince Harry was led to the, well, altar, I'm sure, some might suggest, well, it was interesting to see that he'd invited a couple of ex-squeezers, Cressida Monas and, of course, Chelsea Daly. Now, as we know with Chelsea Daly, it was interesting because, you know, he very much was, well, certainly in his thoughts when he was writing the book Spare, and more so, I felt, when he was in the court with his battle against the British media. Time and time again, she came up, and basically it was all about how the media had ruined this great relationship, which one might suspect was far deeper for him than indeed Miss Davy. But seemingly by the time of the wedding, all things were honky-dory once again. Now, as ever, I've been told by a very good source, and this all comes out, doesn't it, as they say in the wash further down the line, that Meghan naturally was less than thrilled about these two invites. Now, as I said, I would suspect, you know, if you are the bride, you do not want, it doesn't matter whether you're walking down the aisle looking as beautiful as you can possibly look on that day, you do not want ex-squeezers in your eyeline, your gaze. Of course, Meghan is totally different. Some might suggest that she's a narcissist and wouldn't see anybody else. Others might suggest also she's an actress and would just look upon it as a starring role, ditching, of course, the Prince of Wales halfway down the aisle. You get the picture. But what was interesting was, according to that very well-placed source and now former friend of Prince Harry, Meghan, even until the evening before the wedding, didn't really want them invited, allegedly. And what was interesting about this particular development is the fact that Harry actually was very defiant and said, no, 100%, they're friends, they're coming, I really want them there. Now, this must have set a bit of a shiver down the spine of Miss Markle and her mother as they resided in that luxury abode the night before, this spectacle, as Meghan called it, rather than a splendid historical wedding. Either way, this does appear to be the very final act of, shall we say, strength that Harry has shown towards his wife. And it was interesting to note that at the evening function, Chelsea Davy and, of course, Cressida Monas were very pleased for him. Maybe some suspect they were thrilled to have escaped, who knows, but obviously it wasn't a life for them. Whether Meghan felt jealous, whether she felt insecure with these ladies around her, it wasn't necessarily noted, but one way or another, both ladies genuinely wished Harry all the luck in the world. And as for Meghan and Chelsea and Cressida, let's just say they were cordial at best. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.